About 5 to 6 million people speak Danish. The vast majority of those speakers are citizens of the nation-state of Denmark. But for historical reasons, Danish is a second language in Greenland, in the Faroe Islands, in Iceland, and among the Danish minority in northern Germany. The minorities on either side of the border between Denmark and Germany is a special case because the German minority north of the border mainly speak Danish as their first language and learn German as their second language, and the Danish minority south of the border mainly speak German as their first language and then learn Danish as a second language when the children go to Danish-speaking schools in Germany. And then, of course, Danish is a foreign language to university students around in Europe and a little bit in North America and elsewhere. But the vast majority of Danish speakers reside in Denmark. It's the only official language of Denmark. It's the only language that can be used everywhere. It's used in parliament, in public administration, in the armed forces, all over the educational system. Some parts of the educational systems do offer courses in English, and a few educations are entirely in English. But Danish is by far the strongest language in the educational system. There's an official government policy called parallel languages. The argument is that English is a threat to Danish, and therefore the government argues that to protect the Danish language, it's a target that every document should be in a Danish form, and all education should be offered both in Danish and English, and all scientific work should be reported both in Danish and English. The consequence is that English is becoming more and more the only foreign language that children acquire and students acquire at the cost of German and French and Russian and Spanish and Italian, etc. This policy has led to the, I hope, unwanted effect that the knowledge of foreign languages is decreasing in Denmark. As a relatively small country, of course, it's necessary for the public sphere to possess a range of different languages, and this is decreasing these years. The high schools report that fewer and fewer high school students want to take more foreign languages than English. The Business School of Copenhagen reports that they may have to close some of their educations in non-English languages. And of course, there's the question of the linguistic minorities. Since 2002, the teaching of minority languages to children who speak them has been abolished, meaning that there's a very strong pressure on the minorities to give up their minority language, such as Arabic or Chinese, and become Danish speakers instead. This adds to the decreasing of knowledge of different languages in Denmark. And that is, in my opinion, the major problem of Denmark as a linguistic society. It's a shared right-wing policy in most of Europe that the minorities should adapt to the majorities. And in 2001, since 2001, we've had a right-wing government in Denmark, and that was one of their major issues. Well, there's another problem with Danish then, that since the late 1600s, the variation within Danish has decreased, so that if we could take a Dane from around the year 1900 up to now, she would ask, why do all Danes speak Copenhagen Danish? The variation within Danish is very small. The classical dialects are disappearing rapidly. There are no there are no kids who speak the classical dialects anymore. And that's another problem. Next to the isolation, the uniformity of the language is a problem. And the result is that whereas in my generation, and to a certain extent in the next generation, the speakers of Danish could easily understand spoken Swedish and Norwegian, and this is not the case in the youngest generation anymore.